In Iraq, I'm joined by Sarhang Hamasaeed. He is a senior program officer at the United States Institute of Peace. That's a think tank here in Washington. The U.S. Defense Department confirming that they're forming a task force to examine how the U.S. can directly arm Kurdish fighters. Can that be a game changer? What kind of impact can that have?
Well, it will have a significant impact on the ground in terms of confronting the threat posed by the Islamic State. Recent gains against the Kurdish Peshmerga has threatened U.S. personnel on the ground and also caused significant displacement as a result of this action. So it showed the vulnerability of the Kurdish forces that many, including the United States, were counting that they will put the toughest fight against the Islamic State. But the recent fight showed that they lack capabilities that need to be supplemented externally, and this is hence comes the U.S. support to the Kurds.
And we know everything's interconnected in Iraq. How is this likely to play in Baghdad?
Obviously, Baghdad will be nervous about something like that, but there is a common recognition that the threat posed by the Islamic State is one that needs to be confronted from all sides, and the Peshmerga will be critical in confronting this the threat, and the vulnerabilities that they have seen obviously has been convincing for Baghdad to allow this. But moving forward, Baghdad will always look with worry about what kind of weapons go to the Kurds because they don't want this to happen outside the framework of the constitution and what the Iraqi government tries to accomplish.
Let's stay with this kind of dialogue, because a columnist in the region recently wrote, "This prime minister will inherit a government that failed to provide minimal internal consensus and agreement between Baghdad and the Kurdistan region." This is no surprise to you. What can a body do to change that dynamic, or is it too late?
I mean, it's early to say it's too late yet. He has an opportunity to form a government, and this government will have to it's not about the people that he chooses as much as about what policy will he adopt, because we have to focus on what policies led the situation to reach to this day. He has a significant challenge. All sides, domestic and international, also regional, have welcomed the opportunity to work with him. So the days and weeks ahead will tell us what kind of policies he chooses. So far, we have good indications. It has to be seen.
I think some of our viewers might be surprised to know this, but Erbil was named the Arab capital of tourism for 2014. But instead of seeing millions of tourists flooding into the area, which they are counting on, they're seeing a flood of refugees coming in. We heard from someone that Sean Caleb's interviewed yesterday talking about Mount Sinjar being on top of there, the smell of death, children scattered, literally scattered everywhere. Paint a picture for us. What did that area look like maybe 2 years ago when it was thriving? What is it looking like now when we're seeing this flood of refugees, the UN with this report from Li Lingtian trying to bring in humanitarian aid, rushing that into the area in the next 24 hours? I mean, how much have things changed, would you say?
Yeah, well, things have significantly changed in the past 2 months. Before, this was an area of Iraq that was hailed as a successful story of the Iraq invasion. The population have been tolerant and embracing Western values. The economic boom has been significant. Security has been prevailing, and there was no loss of American troops on the ground. And then you had this wave of internally displaced people coming from, started from Fallujah and Anbar at the end of December 2013, and then Mosul and in Nineveh in June. So right now you have a population of 5 million Kurds welcoming and receiving 1.2 to 1.5 million refugees. So that's about 25 to 30% of extra load on the population, and so the shortages of food, of medical supplies, and providing shelter for these people is a significant problem. It brings social tension to the population, because now you're competing for jobs, you're competing for higher rent paying and hotels and restaurants. So it is and in terms of managing this crisis, is beyond any Iraqi capacity to absorb this number at this current speed.
Yeah, it's a dire situation, no doubt about it. Thanks so much for coming in and talking to us today.
Thanks for having me, Mike.
Appreciate it.